Hi and welcome to my place. During a recent trip to Japan, I decided that I would do some Ikebana classes, and I feel that, a girl like myself who loves flowers, it would be a really unique opportunity to get involved. Now, I took some notes, and I do have to tell you, I am not a master. I think I'm too old to learn to be a master of Ikebana or Moribana at this stage, but I took notes, and I thought that if you were interested, then if we had the basic principles nutted out before we started. Ikebana really means the living flowers or the way of the flower, and the 7 basic principles. The first is silence, and the first thing one must do is one must take time to observe what the flowers are looking like. And I'm also told that this art of Ikebana is very good for tolerance, so I hope that I can tick that off. The other principle is minimalistic or minimalism, and that was influenced by the Buddhist monks that brought that principle in. Also, shape and line are important, and it's pretty much involves looking at the way that the flowers or the foliage are growing and then to place accordingly. Humility is another process that comes into it, and that is more a reflection of your feelings and your expression. And then there we've got structure, and these designs are based on the scalene triangle, which is defined by 3, like a triangle, and it's 3 uneven lines. So that's what we're going to be applying or trying to apply today. And the first design I want to share with you is one that I've called white anthuriums with succulents, a moss ball into a white ceramic container. So to make life a little bit easier for me, I sort of have a triangular or a scalene based triangular arrangement with the different. I've got a short plane here, an even shorter one down this end, and then I've got the sweeping line that goes down. Now, often I'm asked, where do you get your ideas from, Astar? And I just want you to know that everything I do starts off with this little wee diagram here, and I'm going to be doing 6 during our filming session today. So this is my little rough design, and I look at the container first, and then I think what would be nice with that. So I found the Arum Lilies, which I absolutely loved and adored. It's a perfect environment, Japan, for growing them. So I've sort of got as many of the flowers that we use here in New Zealand and that you will have access to design this arrangement. Now, they don't use a lot of oasis. In fact, they don't use any. Most of the things that they do is just into the container, and it's the bending and the manipulating of the flowers that has them placed just so. So I've got this, I'll just turn that around there for you to have a look at it. So there's absolutely nothing in there. So I thought, well, years 104, 500 years ago, they didn't have any of the stuff that we use to make our floral designing easy. So I'm just going to apply myself. So I've got 4 of the Arum Lilies that I've placed into here, and these are artificial, but you could use fresh if you had them and just stick a wire up into the stem to be able to bend it and manipulate it. So I've got 2 on this side, and their long stems I've put through over to the other side, and I've repeated on the other, and then I'm just going to put that there. And when I was doing my class, it was very long classes to do one arrangement, might I add, but there was a lot of chatting and a lot of looking and a lot of observing, so that each flower was placed just so. Now those go into there. Then of course you would put the water on. I've got the moss ball here, which I'm going to place there, just up close to that little flower, that little anthurium there. And also the master talked about the shape of the flowers and the complements of the textures that you put with it. So you've got this lovely mossy ball, and before I figured I must just share with you that Japan is a very wet, green, beautiful environment, and because of their rain, there's a lot of moss grows everywhere. So moss balls are part of everything that they use. So I'm just having, and they love lovely rounded forms that sort of like offset the shape of the flower. So you've got this lovely shape here of your anthurium, and the whiteness of it, and then you've got this little, the moss, which is the green that offsets and gives you your balance and harmony, and that lovely texture and interplay of form line. Pretty much exactly the same as what I've said with my designing all the way through. Now I'm going to put in a couple of succulents, and normally I would put that succulent there, but what I noticed a lot was the succulent would go up the top of their designs, Whereas to me it was sort of like a little bit of a mind trip for a moment, but then when I looked at it, I understood why. And if I just turn this around, so I've got this lovely plain here of the anthurium, and then I've got the lovely green, smooth, round form of the succulent. And then when you look into it, there's this lovely little, look down in there, there's a lovely little offshoot coming off, like a new succulent coming off. So if I had put that down here, you wouldn't have seen it. So it's very important that, you know, you see everything as nature, just so in nature. So that's why I'm going to put that into there. But it's just pretty much where you would want to put it, because this is also, don't forget, this is an interpretation of what you are observing in that quiet, contemplative state before you start. Now I've got another little succulent over here, and I'm just going to place that down. There's a lot of gentle placement with their forms. Now that's falling out, so normally I would turn that to have it fitting, you know, placed the way I want it. But as I was told, it's how it is in nature, and as it is in nature is just so, and it's good enough. So I'm going to put that there. Now the other thing I've got is I've got a lovely kale. Whoops. Oh, no, don't fall down. I've got a nice kale, and I just thought that could be beautiful with the colourway. So I've got the white of the anthuriums, of the calla lilies. I've got the green here, I've got the moss, and then in between I've got what I would call a diffusing of the colourways of both that I'm used. So I'm just going to gently just place that into there, and there we have, perfect. So that can just sit there. So what I loved about their designs were they were very simple yet very beautiful, and most of the homes that I went into, all the hotels, shops, everywhere they had flowers. And I just think that to be able to have something just beautiful in a busy life to look at is actually what life is all about. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've enjoyed this, and please don't be like casting dispersive glances at me, because I am not an Ikebana master, but at least I'm sort of starting to learn my way around this beautiful art. I hope you've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed sharing it with you. I'll see you again another day.